Hello, hello, hello. Hi, gang. Well, this is awfully exciting. This is awfully exciting. Welcome to my television studio in the Philly burbs. Welcome to my television studio in the Philly burbs. Give me a sign of life on YouTube, just so I know we're rocking and rolling and that the transmission is what it should be, because I don't want to screw up. Jamal, how appropriate, Jamal, that you would be the first to say woohoo. Thank you for that. In a moment, I will reveal what I believe will be the backdrop on the CNN program. And by the way, we have a great poll question today, which arises out of the radio program. So you shouldn't be surprised if you're a regular radio listener, and I hope that you are. Agree or disagree, it is in the political best interests of Democrats to publicly give President Trump credit when he accomplishes something with which they concur. Thank you to my friends at Play Gun Lake. Summertime is here. The beach, the boat, the lake, the great outdoors, wherever you might be. It's August 1st. What the hell happened to summer? I have not been fishing one day. I have not played one round of golf. I'm thinking for a moment because I played 9 holes in California in December. I haven't played any golf. How embarrassing. And I haven't gardened. What have you been doing? Getting this studio up off the ground. Anyway, I hope your summer is going better than mine. Play Gun Lake, they've got you covered. Wherever you might be, as long as you're a Michigander and you've got your smartphone, check out the new games on the Play Gun Lake app. Huff and More Puff, Mega Fire Blaze, Dwarves and Goblins, Flintstones, plus Money Horse. All your faves. Play Gun Lake, they have them. Blackjack, Baccarat, Roulette, all that fun stuff. PlayGunLake.com. Right now, there's a bonus for new users, up to $1,000 casino bonus if you're down in the first 24 hours. That has got to be wagered. You love to play. You play to win. You bet. Bet Play Gun Lake. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. So with regard to today's program, I'll give you a great example of where I'm going with my commentary and the poll question. The labor numbers were reduced in a pretty significant way. And President Trump's response is to fire the person responsible for those calculations, which I think is a terrible move, is going to instill, and appropriately so, great suspicion into any time we see the numbers. The unemployment rate is X. Really? Can we believe it? And it's wacky Orwellian kind of stuff, akin to what I described on radio yesterday briefly with Smithsonian, and how now the impeachment display at Smithsonian no longer reflects the fact that President Trump was twice impeached. Instead, they're going to talk only about those who faced a serious threat of removal. So these are, to me, big issues, serious issues, worthy of conversation. But they get lost. They get lost amidst a torrent of everyday criticism for everything. I mean, it's a big story. Front page today of the New York Times. I'm holding page 1 above the fold. President moves to oust official over job report. Chuck Schumer, with whom I don't often agree, but Chuck Schumer says in the Times today, I guess from the floor of the Senate yesterday, that it's a case of shooting the messenger. So I am of the opinion, and Brett Stevens is of the opinion, and Mark Halpern is of the opinion that Democrats would be they'd be better served if they were more judicious with their criticism of President Trump, because when they're criticizing him every day for everything, it becomes white noise. And when there are real issues, such as the 2 that I just referenced, they get lost in translation. So that's the commentary that I will deliver from the new studio today, making the case that Democrats right now are facing their worst numbers as a party on record. 35-ish percent approval rating, which is beneath even where President Trump is. The party is really struggling, even though they've got a lot of material. And their problem is that they take what do I want to say? I don't want to use a gun reference because given the assassination attempts on President Trump, that would be inappropriate. But they try and go for everything. instead of being selective with their criticism and opposition. There was a great piece by Brett Stevens which addressed this, and he concluded by saying, if Trump's opponents want to someday be effective, and let's face it, we haven't been, so he puts himself in that category, then we've got to come to grips with the realities that have so far eluded us, such as not everything Trump does is bad. And that, by the way, is going to be the first line out of my mouth in the commentary. And I'm sure when I say that, some people's hair will be on fire, those who have hair. Not everything Trump does is bad. And then he says, sometimes the president's bad manners and over-the-top tactics achieve useful diplomatic or political results. His about-face on Ukraine is something that he then cites. I have lambasted the administration over and over again, both in its current and previous term. I'm sure I will again. But while it's never fun to be fair to those you dislike, it's also healthy. For criticism to be credible, it cannot be blind. I like that. For criticism to be credible, it cannot be blind. Do you agree with that? Because that's the focus of today's poll question at Smerconish.com. Okay. Having told you that, having thanked my friends at Plague on Lake, may I give you a little peek as to what's going on here? So we've played with a variety of images. I mean, you know the magic of television. Whether I'm here or whether I was in the old place, whether I'm at CNN headquarters in New York, where I've been for the last couple of weeks, or in Washington, D.C., when all is said and done, I'm in a soundproof room and I have a television set behind me. And on that television set, we're able to use any slide we wish locationally. I mean, I could tell you I'm in Qatar and put a slide in the back and it would look pretty credible. So we've played with a number of images. I'm in the way, aren't I? I mean, I guess what I want to first say to you is that I want to own the Philly burbs. I want to own the fact that I am broadcasting from the Philly burbs, because especially after the 2024 election, everybody knows about the political significance of the Philly burbs. And I've spent my entire life within a 50-mile radius of Philadelphia, born and raised in Bucks County, lived in the city for 10 years, then moved to the western suburbs in Montgomery County. So I'm going to say today an opening line, as I always do, and then instead of saying, I'm Michael Smerconish in Philadelphia, I'm going to say, I'm Michael Smerconish either in or from the Philly burbs. I'm Michael Smerconish from the Philly burbs. I'm Michael Smerconish in the Philly burbs. I don't know. I've got to think about those two choices. So the image then behind me, we've played with a lot of things, and what we wanted to convey was not the city skyline, because that felt disingenuous to me. It felt appropriate when I was in the city, which is where I've been for the last 10 years, 12 years, 11 years. But I no longer wanted to do that. So I wanted to convey it's suburbia, but not too far from the city. So we've looked at a number of different images which show the city skyline in the background. And I think we're going to play with it during rehearsal in 20 minutes. But I think we're going to go with what I've got behind me. This will be hard for me to show, but I'll try. Let me see if I can frame it. It's hard. It's hard. And I'm in the way. Sorry, gang. I'm not giving you the best. Oh, something more like that. And what you actually see, come in closer. Sorry. What you'll actually see are the old Reading train tracks headed right into town, and my name faintly in the background and our purple color scheme. So please don't judge it based on what I've just held up on my laptop and tried to give you a peek, because I don't think that does it justice. But I like the way that it looks. I like the way that it looks. We've looked at archival photographs, and we've taken some drone images of our own, and we've come up with something that looks pretty cool, and I think is going to work out well. And if not, then we'll tweak it. Well, one more interesting thing about today's program is I'm going to deliver this opening commentary, the not everything Trump does is bad commentary, and then my guest is going to be Rahm Emanuel. And I did a rudimentary search of things Rahm Emanuel has said about Donald Trump in the last 6 months. I can't find anything where he gives Trump credit. So he's the perfect person to whom I can address this issue. So fingers crossed. Okay, first television program from the new studio coming at you in an hour and 20 minutes, 9 a.m. Eastern time for the many more who will watch this on their own time. I'm excited about it and grateful to a lot of people. I mean, frankly, contractors. I was thinking last night, just one thought, and maybe I'll expand on this on Monday. Beyond, the obvious, because PJ is running the television show here today, and I'm grateful to him. But I'm thinking about the people who made this a reality, and I'm thinking about a lot of just like, and they're guys, just like a lot of working class guys who did great work. And one of the final pieces of the puzzle, I mean, really skilled tradesmen. And one of the final pieces of the puzzle, I guess, well, just about the final piece of the puzzle, is that we created this great radio environment, built beautifully with some local glazers because it's glass enclosed, and we needed to diminish an echo. And two guys came in from New York, from North Jersey, actually, yesterday on Friday, and they arrived early. And when I finished radio, because I did radio yesterday from a different location, I immediately came over to the studio, and they walked out probably last night at 7:00. And I was here for the whole afternoon to just watch them work. And they are amazing. They are acoustical contractors. This is all they do. And I was talking to them about other studios where they'd worked, and they identified any number of theaters in Manhattan, Broadway theaters, like just two pros who knew it, knocked it out, no bullshit, just worked hard. And I really respected that. And I could tell you about 10 others, well, I better not start, right? I better not start, but just an amazing process for 2+ months to just see a number of people work hard, come together and get it done. And we've created, I think, what I've always hoped to have, which is the ability to do radio and television under the same roof. So it's exciting. I'm excited. Part of me says, geez, should I really be doing this at this stage of my career? And obviously I've decided that yes, I would. And I have. So hope it looks good on TV today. I appeared on CNN on Thursday already. So we sort of had our test run. But it's exciting, and there'll be nothing like getting this one under my belt. So thank you, everybody. Go vote on today's poll question. This is going to be really interesting. I mean, I don't know what to expect. I guess I'm asking, is it to the Democrats' benefit every once in a while to give Trump a little credit? My expectation is that the voting audience will say, no, but that won't make it the right answer. All right, time to get my noggin powdered and get to it. See you, everybody. Have a great day. Good weekend.